Good day, I'm Rocky, and this presentation is about the Cthulhu mod Mjolnir RDA. I received this RDA from Cthulhu for the purpose of this review. Many other reviewers have already posted comprehensive reviews on the specifications and functionality of the Mjolnir. Most, if not all, have touted the great flavor, smooth airflow, ease of building, and wicking of the Mjolnir. I've been using the Mjolnir for several weeks, and I concur with the praise given by other reviewers. It is a very good single coil atomizer with very good flavor, production, and a smooth, restricted, direct lung vape. Seen here, mounted on a pulsating squonk mod, the Mjolnir RDA is a collaboration between Cthulhu Mod and Anthony Vapes. The Mjolnir is an Anthony Vapes design that brings together the best attributes of many other single-coil RDAs and also introduces a different approach to the airflow design. Anthony Vapes has a presence on YouTube, but currently he posts the majority of his vape reviews on Reddit, where he has a huge following and an extensive library of vape equipment reviews. Like many other Cthulhu products, the Mjolnir comes housed in a round tin. The lid is embellished with a rendition of the mythical symbol of Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and also gives credit to Anthony Vapes, the designer, and Cthulhu Mod, the maker. Opening the tin reveals the Mjolnir with installed 810 drip tip, a frosted 810 drip tip to 510 drip tip adapter, and a matching frosted 510 drip tip. Curiously, there is no little brown bag. Underneath, you'll find a spares bag which contains 2 each spare seals for the RDA base, 2 each spare seals for the 510 drip tip, 1 each spare seal for the 810 top cap, and take note, included 810 drip tip has no seals, and 1 each 510 squonk pin, 2 each flathead grub screws, 2 each 1.5 millimeter hex head grub screws, 1 each 1.5 millimeter hex head wrench for the grub screws, 1 each 2 millimeter hex head wrench for the 510 squonk pin, but no blue Barbie screwdriver. Cthulhu describes the Mjolnir as a 24 millimeter RDA that uses a unique double chamber system, making it vape like a 20 millimeter RDA. Also, the innovative airflow design allows for a bottom airflow flavor. Airflow control is accomplished via 2 opposing horizontal openings. Wide open, these AFCs allow for a restricted direct lung vape, which can be adjusted down to an open mouth-to-lung vape experience. The top cap has opposing recesses, engaged by positioning tabs on the base. That limits the movement of the airflow control at each end of its range, and assists in tightening and loosening the atomizer for mod installation and removal. The build deck is held inside the base either by the solid 510 pin or the 510 squonk pin. The deck is a 2-post design that holds the coil directly over the large bottom airflow opening. Clockwise wound coils will have the legs on the bottom, and counterclockwise wound coils will have the legs on the top. Airflow is ported underneath the deck post at a downward angle, allowing air to mix below the coil and be drawn upwards on either side of the coil. This lower chamber is open at the sides and bottom to allow juice, either dripped or squonked, to fill the lower portion of the build deck and base. Squonking will flood the lower portion and excess will be drawn back, leaving a reserve level with the opening of the squonk pen. With an empty RDA, about 2 millimeters of fluid will be left in the juice well. At first glance, you might think this RDA would hold a large juice capacity in reserve similar to an RDTA. However, as seen in this bottom view, with the build installed and wicking fully saturated, leftover juice will only fill the area outlined in red. That's about 1 millimeter in height, and the area directly underneath the spill ports on each side of the squonk pen. So most of this capacity of this juice well is taken up by the build deck and swollen wicking, but it still leaves some reserve that extends the time between squonks and dripping. This innovative airflow configuration is a conundrum to me. As seen here, the dual airflow enters the RDA at different levels. The airflow on the right is angled downward and exits just above the 510 pin. The airflow on the left is also angled downward, but at a shallower angle, and it exits just above the incoming airflow from the right. This mixing of the incoming air below the coil does produce a very smooth airflow, but depending on the build above it, the air mixture can draw excess juice from the juice well, carrying it up and creating a juicy vape. My first experience with this RDA with a 4 millimeter ID round wire coil had me thinking I was getting a lot of spitback. That wasn't the case. After using several different ID builds, I came to the conclusion that it wasn't spitback, but an oversaturation of the air mixture below the coil for a couple of different reasons. Reason 1. Over-squonking or over-dripping. Although excess juice is returned to the bottle, the reserve isn't drawn down low enough, and it will take several vapes to get a cleaner air mixture below the coil. If you're a dripper, beware and drip lightly. If you're a squonker, you will learn to just bump or tap the bottle instead of giving it a good squeeze. Reason 2. Coil size and positioning. A large outer diameter coil pushed down close to the airflow will provide a more restricted draw than it would if it was raised well above the airflow. This gives the user the ability to tweak the airflow to their liking. For myself, I've found that 3 millimeter ID and 2.5 millimeter ID coils work the best, especially if the top of the coil is level with the top of the build deck. For the way that I vape, that coil size and position has all but eliminated the juicy vape unless I over-squonk. My personal fix for the larger coil diameters is to trim the wick to a point as shown here. That seems to leave a little extra space for the reserved juice from squonking to drain away from the air chamber below the coil and still have the wick touch the bottom of the juice well. Also, for me, I found that the higher ohm builds and lower wattages give me the best vape. My current build is a 2.5 millimeter ID stainless steel 316L 28 gauge coil at 0.95 ohms and 26 watts. The top of the coil is level with the top of the build post, and the wicking requires no thinning or trimming. This build has been the easiest to date and provides a clean, rich vape without being juicy. Thanks for watching. That's all I have for now. Please subscribe and feel free to leave constructive comments. I'm always looking for ways to improve my presentations. I will have a Haze Jenna in hand shortly and intend to post my experiences and opinions about it after a thorough examination. So until next time, Be safe and have a vape day.